Hello and one and all, welcome back to yet another video. So since that 2023 is coming to an end within a few days, I thought this is a good time to talk about my favorite films of this year, 2023. This has been a crazy year for me, to say the least. I have been doing some more stuff outside of movies, getting new hobbies. You know, if you've seen my social media beforehand, I have not been to the cinema much this year, guys, I'm afraid. I have seen about 19 movies. Yeah, that's the smallest number you can imagine, I know. In regards to 2023, I can't speak, 2023, actual movies that have been released. So I've not seen movies like Godzilla -1. I have not seen Killer of the Flower Moon. I've not seen the Teenage Mutant Turtles movie. I have not got to the cinema much. I haven't seen some of the other contender movies because some of them don't come out in the UK until January-ish, like The Holdovers, the Christmas movie. But guys, I do have a top 10 list and we will get into that. But I do want to make something clear, guys, because this film is titled The Best Films of 2023 doesn't necessarily mean that these are technically the best films of the year. Of course not, okay? This is my own opinion, guys, alright? You are entitled to your own opinion, and so am I. Alright, that's the whole point about liking not only movies, but anything in general. You know, products of your hobbies, of your kind. Movies is for sure a part of that. So, these may not be your favorite films. Not all of them may not be on your list. That's completely fine. This is my own list. If you guys have a list and want to share it down in the comments, I'd love to see it. So guys, I do not have any honorable mentions. I'm just going to crack on with the top 10. So, coming at number 10, we have a movie that came out in late May-ish. It's a smaller budget action movie which I have seen. Didn't review it on my channel. My number 10 and number 9 I've not reviewed on my channel. But first up we have is Cisu. Yes, that is the Finland action movie. This was a pretty good movie, I think. It's got violence in it, which is what you want from an action movie. It's got, you know, some good acting. You know, they do speak English technically, although they are characters that are Finland characters. But I thought this film was extremely good. If you guys missed it, definitely check it out. It's pretty good, I think. Next up on the list, coming at number 9, and can I also just point out something? This isn't a typical top 10 that I would consider in my slot, because these are my favorite films that I saw this year, okay? You know, grades do not matter. I didn't grade any of these films when the ones that I reviewed this year anyway on my channel. But we will crack on still anyway. So coming at number 9 is the other movie I did not review this year, but I got to watch it at home. It's part of a sport franchise, the biggest sport franchise of all time, Creed 3. Yes, part of the Rocky series. This was a really good sequel to Creed 1 and 2, which just had Rocky Balboa in it. He was not in this one, I think. And I think it's a good opportunity just to have Michael B. Jordan, Adonis Creed, Apollo Creed's son, as his own series now, the Creed series, which is technically a spin-off from the Rocky series, even though it's a sequel to the Rocky series, part of the Rocky Boxing Legacy series. Don't know what they'll probably call the boxing series franchise. Otherwise, they're just going to call it the Rocky Legacy, because Rocky isn't the main character in all these, but you know. But could there have been times where Rocky could have showed up? Yes. But oh no, I thought Jonathan Majors was menacing in this movie. You know, he is pretty much a badass in the whole movie. You know, doing some serious shit going on. And the fight scenes are extremely good, you know. And if they make a fourth one, you know, I look forward to it. You know, hopefully Michael B. Jordan comes back directing it. Because for a directorial debut, I think Creed 3 is pretty damn good. Next up on the list at number 8, we have yet another action movie like Cisu. This one is a sequel. Extraction 2. Yes, with Chris Hemsworth. Your man Chris Hemsworth continues to knock it out of the park as an action star. Coming after Thor, he's now doing some action stuff, you know. You know, he really just knocks it out of the park. You know, there's a longer one-take action scene than there was in the first Extraction film. You know, it's an even longer one-take action scene, which blew my mind. I'm just like, are they gonna end this? Heck no, but oh no, this was a great sequel, and I would love to see a third one eventually, because this was a damn good sequel. You know, if you want to hear more thoughts, check out my review. I've reviewed Extraction 2. It's on the channel. Alright, coming at number 7 is probably going to be the most controversial pick on this list, because this is a very divisive one. I've seen this on some people's lists, which is good company, but was it made for me? No, but I had a really fun time with Barbie. Yes, guys, I had a really good time with Barbie. You know, Margot Robbie was great as Barbie, along with the highlight of the movie for me, Ryan Gosling as Ken. You know, I just thought their chemistry with one another was really good. Yes, the Mattel stuff, spoilers if you haven't seen any of these movies on the list. The Mattel scene with Will Ferrell kind of does drag a bit, but whenever the third act gets back, the film just gets back into gear, and I had an extremely fun time with Barbie. It's not going to be for everybody, I know, but for someone who likes to experience all genres of film, Barbie was a good time for me. Next up at number 6 on the list, we have a well-known director. No, not that director. We'll get to him in a little bit. David Fincher, The Killer. Yes, I love David Fincher's directing in regards to his movies. Like, he really knows how to make a movie. You know, from like track and shot wise. You know, whether it's a pan or a tilt, or not just your typical static shot. Like, he's like the most careful filmmaker out there, and The Killer, it shows. And he also, what he's really good at is knowing how movies should look. You know, for a crime mystery thriller, they should all look pretty grey. And The Killer was certainly like that. If you want to hear more thoughts, check out my review. Alright, next up, we're in the top 5 now. Next up at number 5, we have quite possibly the last really, really great MCU film, which we're probably going to get. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Yes, this was by far the best film in the MCU since Avengers Endgame, and probably will ever be, because I don't think the MCU is going to get good again. You know, this is what MCU movies should be. You know, this is pretty much Top Gun Maverick of the MCU in some aspects, because it's an MCU movie you don't get anymore. Kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home is, well, Spider-Man No Way Home, making a tribute to Spider-Man. But Guardians Volume 3 has the emotion, you know, it really wraps up the Guardians of the Galaxy to an extent, and also helps James Gunn move from Marvel to his DC universe. Even though they're not connected, I know, but I am interested to see what he does, even if it's not the greatest thing. I mean, thank God the DC Extended Universe is done and over with. And although the MCU is still carrying on, this will probably be the last MCU film, for me anyway, even though there's Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but we will see. Alright, coming at number 4, getting back into the genre of action, we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Yes, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 was such a good first part to a movie. This and a film coming up on the list soon are quite possibly the best Part 1 to a two-parter movie I've ever seen. And this is probably my second favourite film in the Mission Impossible franchise, next to Fallout. I think if Dead Reckoning Part 2 is just as good as Part 1, then I'm happy to say that it could possibly be my favourite Mission Impossible film in this series. And if I'm being honest, it's quite possibly the best film series I've ever seen, because after the second film, which was the only really weak film, each film got better and better and bigger, even though I think Ghost Protocol is my third favourite, Rogue Nation's my fourth favourite. But you guys get the point. I don't like ranking stuff, but just to give examples, of course, but there's real things in the movie. You know, Tom Cruise is on the train, and there's also risky stuff, and another 50-50 aspect about the movie. Rebecca Ferguson's character gets killed off, which I kind of don't mind. To be honest with you, she's probably one of the best characters in the whole series, and I kind of understood that, because she's not technically a real IMF member like Ben G V Reigns, and of course Ethan Hunt, of course. But I look forward to see what Part 2 does, and I hope it will be the last film in the series, because I think it should end with a bang. And if Christopher McQuarrie is really interested to get back into action, willing to, then find something new, I guess, because I think Mission Impossible is coming to an end at some point. But that's number 4. Coming at number 3, this is going to be the last action film on this list, John Wick Chapter 4. Yes, John Wick Chapter 4 was such a fucking blast from beginning to end. Like, this movie, again, is practical. You know, Keanu Reeves is doing real things. Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise are like the two remaining action stars that you get in regards to actors that can actually do things, still do things, you know, to an extent. And especially the scene where John Wick is falling down the stairs, literally from top to bottom. It is insane. And honestly, I don't see how you can continue this movie the franchise, sorry, because of the ending. But all in all, this is easily the best film in the series, to my knowledge. And that's number 3, John Wick 4. So, number 2. This I struggled with over number 1 and number 2, but it lands. If you heard me saying director, here we go again. Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Whew. What a movie Oppenheimer was. It truly shows that Christopher Nolan is quite possibly the best filmmaker working today. You know, from Memento, Insomnia, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, Inception, The Prestige, Dunkirk, and now Oppenheimer. And yes, I do enjoy Interstellar, despite its problems, along with Tenet as well. But Oppenheimer is probably the best film since Inception. And yes, I do enjoy The Dark Knight Rises, but it also does have issues just like with Tenet and Interstellar. But anyway, you know, Christopher Nolan wants very little CGI, and this is what you get in Oppenheimer. You know, it's dialogue heavy to perfection. So guys, coming at number 1 on this list, not only do I want to be exhilarated, like with Oppenheimer and intrigued, but I look for the most fun I have, and that film is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is probably one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. You know, there is already Spider-Man fans and a lot of younger ones with their family. Like, whenever I saw this, you know, there was a young boy having their birthday, and, you know, it was just a great experience seeing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. You know, it's the longest animated film ever made, for God's sake, at 2 hours and 20 minutes straight. You know, when do you ever see that in an animated film? But it flies by, and I cannot wait to see Beyond the Spider-Verse, which technically is part 2 of Across the Spider-Verse. You know, Into the Spider-Verse was so good and amazing, but Across the Spider-Verse, in my opinion, just tops it even more to an extent. And it's a contender with Spider-Man 2 as probably the best Spider-Man movie to date. You know, the animation is so spectacular, and just, it really just put a smile on my face from beginning to end. You know, the movie is so good, so emotional at the same time as well. If you want to hear more thoughts, check out my review. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my number 1 film of 2023. And there you go, guys. That was my best films of 2023. Comment down below, let me know below what you guys think of my list. What are your favourite films of this year, 2023? You know, whatever list you want to do, top 5, 10, 15 or 20, whatever you want to do, let me know below in the comments. Let's have a great discussion down there. And guys, this is probably going to be my last video of 2023, so hope you all had a very good Christmas and a good 2023. I know some aspects have been, you know, off and off. The majority of blockbuster movies were very disappointing. This was a rough year for blockbuster movies, but I heard for smaller budget movies, it's been really good. So for some movies like Godzilla -1, I definitely will watch that at some point. Does it mean I'm going to re-rank my list? No, of course it doesn't. But as always, comment, like, subscribe, share this video, and notify that bell before you leave if you're new to my channel. And as always, until my first video in 2024, I shall see you then, and peace.